Hi everyone. Hope you're having a good day so far. It is almost lunchtime here in South Africa at the moment, but I'm busy with the next prompt, which is window or peek through. Now, I did do something similar a while back, but I'm wanting to show you people how I did this, or how I do this, because it's quite an effective way of creating a very interesting page. So we'll start off with this, which is a piece of scrap so far. This now is, again, stuff is done on a shoestring, like the title of my channel says. It's art journaling on a shoestring. This is a photograph I took of, you Aussie ladies will know about that, a wattle fence. Wattle trees were imported to South Africa, or I would presume in the Edwardian age, somewhere around about there, and they've actually become almost recognized as an indigenous tree in Natal, especially because they grow all over the place. They were brought in, this particular group of trees was brought in to strip the bark off and use it to make tannin for tanning leather. And the saplings, when they grow, because the trees grow incredibly fast. I know all these things because my husband worked for a company once that had plantations of these. But you get, what would you call them, little saplings at about 6 or 8 months old. Oh, incidentally, to grow the seed, what you do, or to germinate the seed, is you actually burn the plantation. So, sticks and things that were trimmed off, poles, etc., that are left lying in the plantation, and then it is burnt to germinate seed, and new wattle trees come up. But it's like hair on a dog's back. So then a lot of time is spent thinning out the trees and finding uses for the thinned out pieces. And one of the things that it's used for is to create a wattle fence. And long story short, my son-in-law built a fence in our garden just to screen off an area that he wanted a bit more privacy in. And what I did was I toddled off with my little camera, being frugal old me, and I took a couple of photographs of this because I thought, this would make lovely backgrounds. So that is the story of the wattle plantation, the sticks, and now let's get down to what I'm actually going to do with them. So, what I've got is I've taken a page, and I did start working on it because I find I need to kind of figure things out on my own before I throw them at the public. So this is what I've done so far. Obviously my brown paper for a page. Then this, I have taken, I have cut pieces from here. And what I've done is the one side of the picture, as you can see from this, there is a faded section. So the faded section is in the middle here, but that is going to be removed because this is now a doorway. There's the lintel across the top here. Not very easy to see at the moment. I'll just lift the edges just so that you can see that there is a strip going across there. I will be highlighting it and making it more obvious just now. And there's the two doorposts, I presume one would call them. Then what I've done to make the door more noticeable is I have decided to do this way. So technically what you have is a wall of sticks going horizontally, and then the door and the door frame vertically. So the trick now is to attach this to the background in such a way that the door can open and close, because I am going to cut a circle with the bottom of this plastic container. Here is my little piece of acetate, and I'm going to create a round window towards the top of the door, so we will be able to see through the window to what is on the other side of the door in this picture. And that's where we are at the moment. But I want to show you what I'm doing just to make this more noticeable. I've taken out my, where are you, my friend? Here it is, my brown acrylic marker, because I just want to do a little bit of shadowing and highlighting here, just to make this lintel a bit more noticeable. So I'm doing it very roughly, just following the edge of what we got. Got 3 poles in the lintel here, sort of, more or less. But I just want to make it more obvious against the background of the so-called wall. So here we go. Let's take a little bit at the bottom here. Go. This last little bit is like that. All of this is going to be cut out, so that's not going to be there anymore. That wasn't very clever, Hazel, because now you can't use that piece when you cut it out. Not so smart. Oh well, we live and learn, don't we? Okay, so that's basically what it is. Now here is our door, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to first make the door, and then I'll do on camera, I'll show you how we attach it and hinge it and so on, and make it so that we can see what's going on behind the door. So I'm going to do this from the back. Hang on, I wanted the shadowed area at the top of this door. Okay, so let's go that way. These are, I think I have mentioned, I don't know if I've mentioned it, they're actually manicure scissors. You can see the curved blade, and they are fabulous for fussy cutting. They really are. They're excellent. because especially when it's something that's not a straight line, you can go around a curve so easily. There we have it. I'm just going to put this piece of scrap paper behind it so that you can see that is the hole and how nice it's going to look. Let's do that. Here we go. So you can see it's actually going to look quite cool. And it will open possibly this way and close again. Here we are with a little bit of progress. I have cut out the doorway now, and you can see, it's a lot more noticeable. I did do a little bit more of the brown marker just to outline the door frame and bring it to the surface. Then I've attached the acetate to the little door, as you can see, and something that I constantly forget to do, which is to leave a piece of paper to one side to use for a hinge. I never remember this, so what I've done is I've attached a strip to this, and the glue has dried. But just to ensure some flexibility here, what I'm going to do is I've got this animal print washi tape, which is not something I will be using very often, I don't think. I mean, I never say never, but I'm not sure that I would be wanting to use it, but you never can tell, can you? I mean, my words page that I did last week, I used washi tape around the edges of that page, also from the set of animal print. Not too sure what animal has those kind of black blotches on a white background, but anyway, I digress. Okay, so I've put this washi tape on the one side. It's just because it would, I think, give us more elasticity as a hinge. So I'm going to do the same thing here on the back, where it's actually never going to be seen, but it just makes it a little less likely to tear, I think. There we go. So now what I need to do with this is to slip it under here like that, you see. Now there's a slight unevenness in my cutting. There's a little bit of a white strip here, so the trusty marker comes to the fore again, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw a line down this edge to hide the white. There we go. I think that should sort it out. Something I need to remember to do, and it's something I constantly forget, is to use the ink to ink edges and get rid of white bits. And as we speak, it's all kinds of little tools and things that I'm now discovering that I never knew about in the past. So it's a learning curve all the way. Looks a lot better. And now we glue down the door. Do we glue down the door? Yes, we do. Sorry, I'm just trying to think, make sure that I'm not wandering off the sequence of events required to do this comfortably. Okay, so we shall glue the door down. There. That's got it nicely glued in place. I think it will still... Okay, perhaps I must just lift it quickly before it glues down too well. We do need a space, because the door will open outwards, won't it? So there, done and dusted. There, that's perfect. And I can feel that the washi tape is going to hold it in place nicely. I'm going to have to use my craft glue to glue this down, especially on the top of the door, because this is where the acetate is, and I can't see that the glue stick would be good enough for that. So that's where I am. I'm kind of going around, leaving an edge. I have to always remember to put the top back on this, because otherwise I'm going to end up with a blockage, and that will be a nightmare to try and sort out on this terribly skinny little pipe. Okay, so now we put the door on. Come along, you need to move over it ahead. Let's have some cooperation here, shall we? There we go. That's better. Now the scary part. I'm just showing just a little bit. You see, you can just see it a little bit here, but I think I can kind of scritch that off. I'm quite sure I'll be able to do something to sort it out. Here we are. Now it's just so. Let's trim the paper, the inside paper, flush with the door here. And now we're going to have some fun, because what's behind the door? I think that this would be rather nice behind the door. Let's just stick this on and show you and see what you think. Obviously it's going to be trimmed, but hang on, this goes higher up. I'll get it dry in a minute. There we are. So that's what we will see through the window. And when we open the door, this is going to be what we will see inside. So I think that's rather lovely, don't you? Now that what I consider to be the kind of biggest and most complicated bits have been done, I'll show you how far I am now, and then I will carry on off camera, mostly just so that this video doesn't end up going on for too long. But as you can see, the door is now attached. It opens and closes quite nicely, and there's the interior of our little spot, which is quite nice. It's just cut out of a magazine and glued against the back, the page. But I'm not satisfied with this. There's a lot missing. It's far too plain and boring. So I've got some fiddling to do. And I'm also going to, for the window, I've had this idea. I haven't even tried it yet. But I'm thinking of putting maybe some lace across there, and perhaps even going up at the bottom. Let's just have a quick look. Oops, it's not going to work very nicely for me, but anyway, you see, that's quite nice, because then it makes it a little bit difficult to see properly, and you feel that you ought to open the door to be able to see it properly. So I think, yes, that is what's going to happen there. So I'm going to make little cafe curtains, kind of, for here. Then for the door, for the handle, I've done it once before and it works quite well. I've started collecting buttons. I'm getting quite a nice collection going here. And what you do is you use buttons. Sorry, it's going to be a bit noisy. I should have taken these out before. There's some lovely quite heavy ones here, as you can see, which I rather like for a door handle. Now, there's a trick to doing a door handle with buttons, which involves sewing through paper or card. And of course, there's the chance that it could tear. But that I will come back on camera to do, so that I can show you exactly how it works. Then, the other thing I want to do is I want to put a creeper of some sort coming up here. So I'm going to fiddle with that at the moment. And once I've done something a bit more interesting, I'll be back. Okay, I have painted both sides and then dried it with the hairdryer so that we're not wasting too much time. Now I just want to crumple this up again because that helps to make the application of paper very uneven and very textured, which is exactly what I'm looking for here. So what I'm going to do now is put another coat on both sides of the paper, and then that will be enough, methinks. That paper can go over there for now, and I'm going to start finishing off the trims here, and I'll be back to show you the stitching on of buttons. Here's my little window with the lace attached. I think it's actually it's made it look so cute. So I'm feeling much happier about this now. Okay, the next trick is the door handle. Now, I just want to mark a spot. I think that will be the right place. And this little machine punches a hole, a single hole, but it does a nice small one. So I quite like it. Of course, it's not wanting to go through a piece of cardboard and two sheets of paper. Okay, we've got, oh my goodness, and the plastic from the window. Oh dear, all right. So we're not going to use that, unfortunately, because it does make such a nice, neat little hole. There we go. We're going to have to do this. Oh, look. It actually did go through. It did cut. It just didn't let go. All right, we live and learn. There's that one. I don't think it went through the... No, it didn't go through the plastic. Never mind, that does actually gives the buttons a firmer foundation, to be honest. Okay, so we've now got this little hole, as you can see, and I've threaded the needle, but what I've done is I've folded the cotton, the thread, in half, and then threaded it through the needle so that we end up with 4 pieces of thread here, and there is a reason for that. Now I'm going to go, this is the outside doorknob. I'm toying with the idea of folding it over, putting it over. I think that will actually be better for it. Okay, so I'm going through here, and I'm going to come back through another hole, because there's 4 little holes in this button. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to thread the needle through 2 of the strands so that I've got a loop, and the buttonhole, the knot in the thread doesn't go through the button. Okay, so now we go through this little hole, and as I said, I'm putting this side of the button on the underneath. This has got quite a deep indentation for where the thread goes, and it's just going to be neater if it happens this way. The one on the other side I think I'll do just flat. So now I'm threading through one of these holes. Now I'm going to go through the opposite hole of this button, and back in to that button, and I'm going to sew in and out through the buttons, until I feel that they're nicely firmly attached. Okay, that's the button sewn on. Just want to trim off those long threads, and I'm just going to put a dab of glue onto the stitching of this buttonhole, of this button, because we don't want it to come undone or start to wear. So covering it with some glue is going to ensure that that doesn't happen. I'm going to do it on both sides. Here we go. Now we'll just wait for that to dry nicely before we try and close things. Now we're back to our green painted papers, and what I'm going to do now, I did have a shorter ruler here a few hours back. Anyway, I'm going to tear this into strips that are, I'd say, approximately, roughly, a centimeter wide. Because what I'm going to do now is just show you how I prepare the leaves, and then I'll complete everything off camera, because by then you've kind of been shown how I've done each thing. And this is what I do. I'm going to cut them into roughly diamond shapes, like that. You see, that gives me a kind of a leaf shape, if you see that. Okay, so there's the leaf shape. Then what I do, okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to fold these lengthways, more or less, just like that. You see, it's just going to make them slightly uneven. And when I glue them onto the page as leaves, I'm going to glue them in such a way that they're not lying flat. So we will have a bit of texture here as well. So there we go. And what I am going to do is I'm going to find my black marker, and down the center of each leaf I'm just going to do this. And only on one side. You see, they're looking like leaves, are they not? Right, so here's the completed page now. In spite of putting up the little leaves, there was like a bald patch here. There was something missing. So I thought, let me just make this little sign, "No place like home," and put it there, which is what I've done. But it's only attached in this little space here. So you can still get the 3D effect of the leaves, which are also 3D, underneath. And I'm just feeling that it's kind of fitting. This is the fastener for the door, which is a tiny little piece of very thin silk ribbon, which I simply finger crocheted into a loop, and I put it through from the back of the page to come through just under the door frame and then fit over there. So that's that fixed. You can see here, I think this is, it's such a lovely view, this little room. These here are a couple of paving stones that I've put there, just so that when the door's closed, it doesn't look like it's opening onto the ground. Sorry, a bit of a frog in my throat. Okay, so that's that one finished. Obviously, by the length of the video, you can see that only one page has come on here, but that's fine, because there were things that I did here that I actually wanted to be able to show you, so that you could see how they were done and not just what was done. So that is why I took my time and demonstrated the cutting of the leaves, the hinging of the door, the button doorknobs, that kind of thing, because I thought, you know, there may be some of you who haven't done that before and didn't know how to. So that's how I learned, and I like to pass it on. Incidentally, there's a strip of the painted paper left behind from the leaves, and a little tiny packet of leftover leaves, which is fine because what I do now is these get tucked away in one of my little to-do boxes, and if ever I need them again, I can pull them out and use them. Okay, people, so that's the end of this. We're at the end of this week. However, I still have 2 more prompts to fill for this week. That's window or peek through completed. So I'm just going to tick it off, and probably tomorrow I'm going to do a little bit of catch up. The family's going away for a weekend, and that leaves me to get on with whatever I want to do. So there we have it. Thanks for watching. If you liked what you see, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and once again, the comments are so valued. So if you have anything that you'd like to comment on, please feel free to do so. I appreciate your feedback. So until next time, as I say, probably tomorrow, stay safe, stay well, and bye-bye.